Hi everyone. So in this video, I want to go over our course structure on D2L and a few other things that are important for you to get a start. When you log into D2L and click on our course title, you should see a page similar to mine. On the top, you will see the menus like content, grades, activities, communication tools, UC, virtual classroom. And these are the important ones. Of course, if you need extra help, you can find it here. You can also find campus resources. I do not use this announcement that often. Typically, my announcements are included in the weekly emails and also during the live lecture. Here's the content browser. I believe it's much easier if you go to content here and look at the content that are organized. We'll be there in a minute. But on the right-hand side, if you pull down, you will see the calendar and upcoming events that reminds you what is still coming up, okay? So ignore the first one, that's a test for myself. But right here, you can see the quiz, the due date for the quizzes and for the project. I'm still kind of working on this part. I do want the quizzes and projects due midnight the day. So although it shows 8 p.m. right now, I'm gonna fix it later. So let's click on content. And you will see the course materials all listed here. It will show whatever you saw last time. And there's my profile, so it's not very accurate because I look at everything a lot. Now, at the beginning, there's an overview. If you click on it, it just introduces our courses with the course schedule for your convenience. And the next tab is very important, how to install Minitab. On this page, I provide two options. The first option is to use the 12 version, which is valid for 30 days. And this should be enough for you to finish this course because as of right now, when I'm speaking, this is July the 6th. By August the 6th, we should be done. And the other option is to rent the software for $29.99 for 6 months. If you find the software to be helpful and powerful, you may consider this choice. I'm gonna assume most of you will prefer the free version, 12 version, and therefore I provided more details in regards to where to find the 12 version and how to install it. To get the 12 version, you do need to fill in a form, provide your name, and identify yourself as a student, provide the university name, I believe, and a few other things in order to get to the download page. Then next, this is a video showing you how to install it after you have the package downloaded. Then the next video is a complete one showing you where to find the 12 version online and also install the 12 version. I don't quite like it in the sense that there's no audio or explanation in this video. It just shows you the screenshot of moving here and there. And for the second option, when you click on it, you will be taken to on the hub page to finish the process. And this on the hub is, I believe, looking at the direction is part of Minitab. Then once you rent it, you will pretty much follow the same process to have the software installed as in the first option. All right, so the next tab is the project. Under this tab, you will see the two data files that you will be using for your projects for this course. And the first one is called company revenues. I'm gonna click on it and show you what's inside. This file contains company revenue data for about 75 companies. I didn't label all of them. I only labeled a few that I usually assign to people. But that's a full list of the companies. Then if you switch between tabs, you will find these companies are organized by industries. If, so example, if you are assigned Lowe's, this is under home improvement industry, then you're gonna need to move across the tabs to find home improvement. And then within that page, you will find the company review for Home Depots. And I also want to mention that as the companies are organized by industries, when I open this industry, I'll see Amazon and eBay. And for each company, you will see the date, revenue, as well as SG&A. That's the cost side data, which will not be used in our course, just for your information. All right, that's the first file. And the second file is the macroeconomic variables, macroeconomic data. In this file, I provide quite many macroeconomic variables for you to use later. After you will learn regression, you will be using some of these variables to run your regression analysis, okay? And this file is also organized by tabs. In each tab, you are looking at each particular variable. All right, so that's the project. And below that, on the left-hand side, you will find everything is organized by weeks, and exams have their own tab or folder. So if we click on week 1, you will notice for week 1, we have chapter 2 and chapter 3, and also the quiz. For each chapter, you will find the PowerPoint slides, the recorded lecture going over the PowerPoint slides, and lecture data used within that chapter, the exercise for that chapter, the exercise data for that chapter, and then it's not shown here, but I will upload in a minute, the video I recorded going through the exercise questions for that particular chapter. Okay, so overall, you will find 2 videos, and they are both very important. The first video goes over the lecture, the PowerPoint slides, and the second video, which will show up here, goes over the exercise questions. Okay, same for chapter 3. You see the PowerPoint, lecture video, lecture data, exercise questions, exercise data. And then below that, you will see the 2 quizzes for the particular week. For this week, you're supposed to work on chapter 2 and chapter 3 quizzes. You will see the days, the due date, and the quiz starts from the 5th, which is yesterday. All right. Then similarly for week 2 and week 3, you will find everything structured the same way with chapter 4 and chapter 5 for that week, together with 2 quizzes, etc. Now, if I click on the exam, for each exam, I will provide a review sheet. The review sheet is really just give you the topics that we covered in these chapters and the major points within that chapter. You should use this as a guideline instead of a comprehensive list. The best way to review for the exam is really to go over the lectures, go over the lecture notes, work on the exercise questions, make sure you can do those during the exam, especially since this involves using Minitab and we all have experience with technologies. You do want to make sure you know where to find certain buttons to conduct the analysis. All right. Although the exam is not right here, but I want to mention that when the exam appears, let me see if I have it for exam 2. Not really. Anyway, so this is exam 2. For exam 1, it should be similar. There should be a Word file contains the data for that exam. And then you will see another item at the bottom, which is the real exam. To take the exam, you click on it and get started. Now, for D2L, the feature of exam does not allow you to upload any files. Whatever your answer is, you have to provide that within the text box, which apparently does not work for us because our questions will be very similar to those exercise questions. That is, you will conduct the analysis within Minitab, copy, paste the output, and provide your answers in words. And therefore, to submit your exam, it is submitted to an assignment folder that can be found under activities. Since we are talking about that, I want to jump a little bit and go to activities, click on assignments, and show you the folder that you will submit your exam. So there we go. You can see exam 1 submission, exam 2 submission, exam 3 submission. So these are the places where you actually submit your answers, okay? And I don't think I have a way to upload file. Let me see. Oh, I do. I never checked on this. So basically, when you click on it, you can add a file from your computer and hit submit. The file will be submitted to the assignment folder for me to review. All right, let's go back to content. Okay, so going back to week 1. So I want to talk about the project a little bit more. There are 4 parts for the project, and each part is due within each week. For the first part, it is due this coming Sunday midnight. So let's take a look at the document, or I call it the guideline. Okay, so the main purpose of this project is for you to use the models you've learned in this course to analyze a company's revenue and write a report about your findings. And the goal is to forecast for the next 2 years, quarterly revenue for the next 2 years. It is assumed that the project is written for a company's strategic planning vice president and other company executives. And therefore, in your report, you do need to provide your Minitab results as well as any interpretation. They are more interested in the interpretation and the conclusion than the technical notes themselves. All right. So I've already talked about where to find the data, and each one of you will be assigned a company by me. I will show you where to find that information in a minute. In terms of the company revenue data, you only need the date and revenue variables. There's another SG&A variable that will not be needed. All right. And when writing the project, I want you to keep the following 4 questions in your mind, because they will guide you through what you want to write in the report. First, it is, what did you do? What model did you use to analyze data for each part? And why did you do it? Or in other words, why did you pick that model? Sometimes you have several options, but you pick one of them according to the data. For example, a data may have trend and seasonality, so you pick model A. The data may only have trend, so you pick model B. So specify why you pick that model. And then you also need to explain what you find, interpret the result, show the Minitab results, and interpret that. And lastly, you want to draw the conclusion. What can you tell from the analysis? All right. You will be using the following models, starting from chapter 4 until chapter 9. First, I want to describe the business in general. Just like when you talk about a company, you want to introduce what the company offers, when the company was established, maybe the size of the company, etc. It's just some basic information. Next, we want to state why you write this project in general. So the goal is really to develop the best 2-year quarterly forecast for whatever company revenue you're looking at. This is just give you an example, the way to say why you're doing this and what you're going to do and why. And second, you want to provide the very basic data description. We're not using any model yet. Based on what you learned in chapter 2 and 3, I want you to identify, based on the time series plot and ACF, identify trend, cyclical, and seasonality component in the data, if any, and state the criteria used and state what you find. And since this is the first part of the project, I provided you with a fake example just to show you what I'm expecting overall. So start from the very beginning, part 1, introduction. I say the company was founded by first name, last name, whoever, in 1923, headquartered in wherever. It's a major retailer. The purpose of the project is to forecast for the next 2 years, and such analysis is important for the company for strategic planning, etc. Part 2, you want to start the data description. So you want to obtain the summary statistics of the data, at least to get an overall idea about the mean revenue, standard deviation, the highest revenue, lowest revenue. Next, you want to examine the time series plot and the ACF to determine if there's trend or seasonality, as well as cyclical component, okay? And provide your explanation why you say there's trend, why you say there's seasonality, right? So that's the first part of the project. And in the next 3 weeks, you will also finish the rest of the 3 parts of the project. That's pretty much what you will find under content. The next tab we're gonna look at is the grades. So when you click on grades, this is where you check your course grade, of course. You will see items listed with the total points. And I believe for project company, you should click on the item. I can't do it on my end, I guess because I'm an instructor. But for your case, I believe you should be able to click on the item to see what company is assigned to you exactly. I am honestly not sure if it will show up on this page. If not, then click on the item. Okay, I'm still working on organizing the grade book. So what you see here is not the final format. I will make certain changes later. Next tab we're gonna look at is the activities. When you click on activity, you will see assignments, discussions, quizzes. We don't have any discussions for this course, so you won't go there. But assignments will be the place you will go quite often because you're gonna submit your exams here. As I've shown you, you will also submit your project here into these folders. Quizzes is where you find the weekly quizzes as well as the exams. All of them are here. So again, I haven't organized these quizzes yet very carefully, but they will be in a nicer order later on. All right, next tab is communication tools. This is a tool where you can find the calendar, and also the class list is the one I use to email everyone in this course with updates, weekly emails, things like that. UCU is where we hold our live lecture. When you click on UCU, you will be able to see the meetings scheduled, okay? And you will also be able to see the recorded meetings in case you missed it or you joined late or you want to review again. Here's the recordings. So basically that's what we have for our course on D2L. Let me know if you have any questions.